Entry to Officer of the Day, 6 officer candidates coming aboard, sir.
Room, which is the nerve centre of the submarine. This is the calculator, which assists them in carrying out attacks. And this is the attack periscope, which is followed by the after periscope.
What raises the periscope, Chief? Is it electrics or hydraulics?
Hydraulics?
Well, because it's more reliable.
That's it, and quieter.
This is a T conversion, isn't it?
That's right.
I visited one in Malta. The captain's a friend of my father's.
He's bound to get through tomorrow. One of those old naval families. Lucky devil.
Hey, what are you keeping this little compartment then?
27 of the crew, son.
So what's going to happen to us tomorrow then?
You start off in the gym.
Now, everything between these two white lines is water. And what we've got to do, we've got to get the wounded man in the stretcher.
I can't hear him, sir.
We've got to get the wounded man in the stretcher from this bank of the river to the other side. And we've only got 8 minutes to do it in. I think 3 of us ought to get over there right away, so the other 3 can get the wounded man in the stretcher onto the square spar.
Take it easy, old boy, Jack. He's human, you know.
Steady now, steady now. Keep the weight on beam now. Come on. Okay. Easy now, steady. Steady.
1 minute to go now, number 6.
It's not too bad. Watch out for the civvy headmaster, though. Well, if they keep this up, we'll all be through by tea time.
Yeah, we can all catch the 4:21 train.
Come in, Wyndham. Come and sit yourself down. I suppose being a W, you're used to being tailed in, Charlie, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, I imagine the chaps outside have told you a little about what goes on in here, haven't they?
No, sir.
But did nobody stay back and keep you company?
No, sir.
The blighters.
Very fond of the outdoor life, and I've always liked the sea.
Mm-hmm.
But a job in office, you know, it didn't appeal to me.
Sailing. Well, where do you do your sailing?
Oh, my uncle up in Holyhead. He's got a GP sailing dinghy. I go up there about twice a year for a week and sail in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell us anything about the ships we have in the Navy?
Well, there's aircraft carriers, commando ships.
Now, what do they do?
Oh, they carry marines. You know, amphibious and helicopters.
Mm-hmm. Any other ships?
Battleships.
Battleships?
Now, Wyndham, a straight question to start with. Do you reckon you worked hard your last 2 years at school?
Well, I tried to, sir.
What about the mathematics?
I failed in July, but I did pass in December, sir.
Oh, yes, so you did. Grade B. Well, that's good enough. Now, you say you collect coins.
Yes, sir.
What sort of coins? We all collect coins.
Well, I'm collecting a set called Victoria Jubilee set, sir. Dated
Isn't that rather a curious hobby for a young man like yourself, who's joining the Navy for an adventurous life?
I've always found it very interesting, sir.
Now, what about this scholarship of yours, this Sir John Howell scholarship?
I won it at Clanfillian, sir, before I left my prep.
I see, an entrance scholarship.
Yes, sir.
Is it given by a benefactor of the school?
It's given by Sir John Howell, sir.
Well, that's what I thought. Do you know who he is? Or was?
Well, I'm not sure, sir, if he was an atheist or an agnostic. I think I'm getting a bit muddled up, sir. But I do know he was a great author.
Now, I notice you're on the Sea Cadets.
Yes, sir.
Have you been on any holiday trips or visits with them?
Oh, yes, sir. I went down last year to Tavistock for the annual camp. We visited 4-2 Commando Unit and went on the Tarzan course, sir.
Well, how'd you make out there?
Well, at the end, I'm afraid I fell down off the rope into the river. But I enjoyed it all the same, sir.
Well, that's good. Fine. Well, and I see you put down engineering officer as your first choice and seaman as your second.
Yes, sir.
And there's no trouble with your eyesight at all?
No, sir.
Well, now, look, I'm a seaman officer. You just tell me why you think the engineering branch is better.
Well, no offense, sir.
Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Well, if the engineers didn't work the ship, well, what would there be for the seamen to do?
I liked my talk with this chap. Very intelligent, a comparatively humble home, but it's decent. They're proud of his getting to university. An unusual character. There's more to him than's on the surface.
I thought he did very well when the Admiral challenged him.
Now, come on, Appleby. You sell yourself to us. What's your proudest achievement? Something you've done really well. Something convinces us the Navy can never get on without you.
Well, that Easter expedition, sir. It had been snowing for 3 days, and the Army cadets, the arduous training lot, well, they'd given it up. But we stuck it out. Well, actually, we thought we were pretty tough.
He's a sticker. He's got good A-levels, maths and physics. He's an ideal engineer.
But can you see him as a naval officer, sir?
We aren't here to find officers, you know. We're looking for civilians we can turn into officers.
It seemed to me his motivation was so shaky.
The Navy's the elite, really, isn't it? Of the services, and, well, I'd like to be in the elite.
Why do you think you're qualified for this elite of yours?
Well, I'm keen on sailing. I've had a boat ever since I can remember. And we've always had naval officers in the family. My stepfather's Vice Admiral Connor.
And I think he'd be very good in the Foreign Office. He's got an amazing grip on world affairs. I think there's real caliber there, despite his la-di-da attitude.
I think he's just kidding himself he wants to be a naval officer.
Oh, what a cock-up. If only I could have found one bright thing to say. I bet they hated me.
I like him. I gave him 6 for his school report and 6 for the gym. I was particularly impressed by his motivation. I think when the heat's on, sir, this boy will do very well.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Crichton?
He'll get his 2 A-levels all right. He's not great academically, but he's good on personal relationships. I liked the way he said, "No offense, sir," when you put him under a bit of pressure. It came out so naturally.
Yes, it did.
So he's on 6 for me.
Well, school says possibly a prefect in due course.
I think they may have some doubts because possibly he's been an awkward customer. He has a strong personality, they say, stands out in his form. Now, he may have his rough edges, but this lad's got quality.
Of course, he may never set the Thames on fire. All the same, I think he's a jolly sound hand. Well, now, before I sum up, let's hear your views, George.
Well, it's the all-roundness that impresses me. I mean, 6 for everything. What more do you want? I liked him as a boy. I liked him sailing with his uncle in the GP. I liked his camp at Tavistock. I liked him falling in the river. I thought a perfectly natural, good, all-round solid citizen. And if we can't make him into a good officer, then heaven help the lot of us.
Come here, you punch in your fist. Next fight. First and second knuckle.
Cadet Jakes?
Chief?
You've got a sport shirt in this drawer instead of a civilian shirt.
I'm sorry, Chief.
You've seen a copy of this kit to lay out photograph. Why isn't yours the same?
Well, I thought it would be more convenient.
You thought. There's only one way to do things here, and that's the Navy's way.
Hell! Start quick! Out! Hold your head up! Left! Wheel! Get your arm!
That first 6 weeks in the college, we certainly put them through it. Fairly rigorous basic training, their lordships call it. My son went through this lot. They tear you apart that first half term, he said.
Quick! Out! Hold your head up, kid. Get these arms straight. Left wheel! Get that arm straight. Force it to the rear!
Wherever they go, they always feel 2 minutes adrift. And in the wrong place anyway. And all the time we're at them to keep themselves smart. Treat them mean and keep them keen, we say.
That cadet with the racket! Sir? Talk to me!
Cadet Owen reporting, sir. Have you been picked up for a haircut, Owen?
No, sir.
Well, you have as from now.
We have to get them fit and keep them fit. They've got to be able to cope with what's ahead for them. We treat them like men, or intelligent human beings anyway. Give them what responsibility we can at this stage. They aren't at school anymore. They're training for a lifetime job. They've got to find out the hard way, learn to cope for themselves. they learn to take it. It's a rotten day, and the Admiral's taken a long time over his inspection. The whole parade's been at attention for 10 minutes. My lads are worn out anyway. Feel sorry for themselves.
Hold it still. Don't sway. Still. Charming. Anyone else with TB, fall out.
So you make a little joke to keep their spirits up. Old-fashioned, but it works. My boy said you don't see the funny side at first. It's all too confusing, overwhelming. Then you suddenly get what it's all about. They're breaking you down to build you up again. Better. So he said.
1 and 2 and 3 and steady. Steady.
After a few weeks, you can watch them get it. You don't have to keep picking them up anymore. They keep themselves smart, like officers ought to be. They've got self-respect. Don't look like terrified rabbits anymore. They get a bit of fizz. Not cheeky, but, well, they show a bit of dash.
The left. Commence. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Steady! That's not a chest exercise. Don't laugh. Your turn will come up here.
That's not a chest exercise.
Why point at him? Everybody else did exactly the same. Victimization.
Up, 2, 3. Over, 2, 3. Cut. Calling the timing.
After 6 weeks, they can feel the difference. Now they know. And we know they know. And they know we know they know. It's beginning to happen.
Suffering Harrys, you are naval officers. In 12 months' time, I will be saluting you and calling you sir. Take your flaming fingers out.
And then, with that first 6 weeks under their belts, they're away.
We'll do a blind pilotage run up into Portsmouth Harbour. Course 015, speed 15. 1 cable to wheel over.
No 5 cables. The wheel over mark's still well ahead of us.
Steady, if you don't order course now, you're going to be aground. Now what you're doing is taking this...
This part of our uniform demonstration shows you tropical gear. This is what you would wear if you were the officer of the day in your ship in the West Indies. An all-white uniform suit with white buckskin shoes. For drinks in Government House, you would wear tropical mess undress to meet the Governor's daughter and tell her all about your sister in the Wrens.
So this flag signal tells the fleet to dress ship in honour of a visiting French admiral. Now, if you take away the spelling flag, we are now telling the fleet to air all their bedding and hang out all their dirty washing.
Well, where do you reckon we ought to be? Just over Pussum Farm, sir. Any idea where we are? I think we're over the college, sir. I seem to have made an error. Yes, you seem to.
They all wear the same uniform, learn the same sort of stuff, do the same drill, but they're all individuals. Character and leadership, that's what we're after. There's hundreds of ways of bringing it out. Competition, sailing, racing, expeditions across Dartmoor. Some of the lads show it right away. Some of them take a bit of time before they're sure they've got it.
What in hell's eating you?
Can't sleep.
You're telling me. Just my luck getting you. I'd rather share with anyone else, even Harris.
Harris's feet smell.
Yes, but they do it quietly. What is it? Get it off your chest, for Lord's sake.
Alistair, have you ever wondered what would happen later on if you told somebody to do something and they just wouldn't?
Never thought of it.
Yes, but suppose they just said go and get stuffed.
In your case, they'd probably be right.
A lot of help you are.
Oh, forget it. Think about tomorrow. We've got a race to win.
Character and leadership couldn't even lead the Dagenham Girl Pipers. Honestly, Alistair, I'm sure I heard you say checkmate.
You'd better come in the first 15th tomorrow, or we've had the Divisional Cup. It's a damn good job you know them all.
"15 miles. We could make the farmhouse by 3. If we get a rig of them, we could do it by half 2.
We'll be lucky.
Cheers.
Okay, head towards the quarry.
Brace up, George. Stop hobbling. Hey, wait a bit. I think I heard shouting. I'm sure there's someone out there. Look, we don't want to be stuck out here all night, do we? Come on, let's have another go.
Help!
I heard it again, didn't you?
You're crazy, Steve. Come on.
We better go back and look.
Honestly, Steve.
I'll go on my own then.
We're not allowed to split up.
Come with me. Hello. Oh, hello. You lost too? Who are you lot? It's Mary and all the Angels, aren't we?
From Poplar, choir outing.
Expedition, do you mind? Got any fags? No, sorry. Do you know them all? Yeah. Used to visit me dad here on his holidays. 6 years. He ain't your mum. I don't like the look of him. Ugly little creep, isn't he? I really don't think we ought to hang about here. Look, our farmhouse isn't too far away. How far? An hour or two, maybe. We can't take it too fast, not with these little ones, all right? I'll carry this one, you take the other. Nah, better not. Better stay put. Anyway, Puffin Billy's gone for help. Puffin Billy?
Mr. Chipping, the choir master.
He doesn't know where we are.
Just up over the hill there. Yes. Just up over there, about 2 miles up there.
What direction did he go in? I don't know. He just said stay put till he got back. But these kids will never last the night out here. We've got to get moving right away. Come on, let's get going. You're Nelly, mate.
There's not much I can do about it at the moment, but when my cadets come back off the moor, we'll get them together and organize a search party.
There it is! Come on, get a move on!
Ah, stow it. My blisters have got blisters.
It's balmy, I tell you. I ain't getting lost all over again. If that kid pegs out, it'll be your fault, and I wouldn't be you. Come on, lads, let's get going.
Here! Wait for us!
Morning, sir.
Oh, hello.
Morton's group, 10 points being first answer.
OK. Just a minute. Where's your 5th man? You're one short. What's that over there?
Sounds like somebody singing.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
I don't know how he did it. Harry wouldn't budge, and he wouldn't let the others come with me either. I thought it was unwise, but...
Lucky for them, someone turned up anyway.
What would you have done if they hadn't agreed to come with you? Never thought of it. Suppose Harry had said, get stuff.
As a matter of fact, he did.
In the college, you sometimes feel a bit cut off from what it's really all about. Then in your last term, you aren't on the sidelines anymore. Suddenly it's all around you, and you're a part of it.
Commanding Officer, Her Majesty's Ship Garton. Sir, 1. I have the honor to report the circumstances surrounding the successful recovery of equipment from the Subang River on the 20th of April 1967. 2. I was ordered to take the ship's diving team, consisting of able seaman Skene, leading seaman Stafford, ERA-3 Holden, and able seaman Eubank, to recover a 2-inch mortar, its ammunition, and 2 self-loading rifles, which had been lost when a dory carrying them and soldiers struck an uncharted rock on the 18th of April and sank in 30 feet of water. 3. Once there, I sent down ordinary seaman Skene to search for the wreck. After 45 minutes, he found it. I then dived myself to work out the best means of recovering the equipment. 4. The sunken dory was fouling the weapons and ammunition, and it was necessary to haul it out of the way. I started to direct this operation from the boat.
Everyone into the water!
Okay, sir, I've got him. He's over there. Come on, Holden, we'll swim round and get him from behind. Where the hell is the little bastard?
What are you doing now, son?
Hang on, he must be here somewhere. He's right below us.
After a short scuffle, we captured him. The prisoner was tied up and left under guard. I then got on with the recovery of the equipment, collected the prisoner, and returned to Her Majesty's Ship Garton. I would like to commend the diving team
For the support they gave me during this operation. I have the honor to be, sir.
That is terrible, Douglas.
What did I do wrong, sir? Got on with the recovery. That isn't even English. And how many M's in command? 1, sir, I think. I don't know. Only 18 months since you left school, and you've forgotten how to spell already. Yes, sir. You can take over the watch tonight. On my own, sir. Why not? It's about time.
Port 20.
Over Trosserholdet vil vise ham stedet. Victor, Bravo 1. Break. Berth, lange linie, southern end, at position indicated by berthing party. Break. Break. Time?
Arrived, Copenhagen, 250915 Alpha. Over. Extension 240. Have you that report on young Ellison? Just one moment, sir. It seems he volunteered for a transfer from general service to submarine, sir. He's now serving in Artemis as fifth hand. Any comment? The commanding officer of Artemis thinks he's going to be all right, sir. Where are they now? Copenhagen. On an official visit. There are 3 frigates there as well. Too soon to appoint him elsewhere, then?
Oh, yes, sir. He only finished his submarine training at Gosport 3.5 months ago.
Right. Thank you.
Gosport 3271, HMS Dolphin. I'll put you through.
Yes, submarine training. Here are the names of the next officer training course. Oh, good. I've been waiting with them. Walcott, MH, Lieutenant. Benson, Aden, Sub-Lieutenant. Bonner, K, Lieutenant. Ellison, TFR, Lieutenant. Knighton, L, Lieutenant. Ottaway, JW, Lieutenant.
At the bottom of the sea. So clearly, the first thing to learn is the escape drill.
I want you to stand up now, put your goggles on your eyes and your nose clip on your nose. Then get your breathing unit, put it right in your mouth, make a good watertight seal round the rubber, and start breathing from your breathing units. You will then make your way up the hatch, breathing out as you go. There's a 100-foot column of water above you through which you have to ascend to the surface.
Stand by, stand by, stand by.
As you know, we have Dreadnought at sea at this moment, to be followed shortly by Valiant. As future submariners, you will very shortly be involved in the nuclear submarine program and a program of hunter-killer submarines.
Submarine engines. Obviously, standardization was the next thing required.
The chamber of the head valve will float up and shut the valve. As soon as the head valve becomes clear again of the water, the head valve will
12 lead-acid cells, each producing 2.1 volts. A cell is comprised of a positive and negative plate made of lead oxide and lead and surrounded with sulfuric acid.
and so cuts down any fuel fumes inside the submarine. Because of the fact that fuel fumes inside the submarine could be rather dangerous,
theory of it, and it should have been brought home to you, the absolute need for the attack team to be fully worked up in a submarine. I've deliberately put you into these groups of the electrical officers, engineers and the executives all working together here. So that it doesn't really matter who does a job. You should all be fully capable of manning any of these positions. Bear in mind while you're doing this that submarine is basically a weapon of war, and you're there just for this purpose of attacking other submarines and surface ships.
shut.
This prevents open and induction flooding indicator drain clear.
Into the submarine via the induction
hull
piping.
valve.
This valve is fitted with a buoyancy chamber, so that when the head valve is pulled below the surface of the sea, either by the submarine itself going deeper, or the snort line being lowered, or the rid of it at the other end of the induction piping,
You can see from this valve here,
which is led in through the
open it.
From Fozen to Artemis, info SM2. Paragraph 1. Lieutenant Ellison appointed Artemis additional. Stop. Para 2. Officer instructed to join at Plymouth 0900, Tuesday the 23rd.
You must be Ellison. Nice to see you. Would you like a cup of coffee? Well, I hope you're going to enjoy being with us in Artemis.
Slow stern starboard. Go ahead, port.
Captain speaking. We shall be going from Plymouth towards the nearest point in the Ice Age north of Iceland. When we get there, we shall be carrying out a survey in conjunction with the officer from the hydrographic department. They're an extremely nice lot on board. The captain and first lieutenant appear to have been an incredibly decent pair. I think I'm very lucky with my draft to Artemis.
Excuse me, sir. 5 minutes to your watch, sir.
Roger. Thank you very much.
My bunk is at the forward end of the wardroom on top of another. Once I can get into my sleeping bag, it's very comfortable. But the actual entry and exit is most hazardous. Of course, a fifth hand is really only a supernumerary, and from time to time I'm expected to pitch in and give everybody a hand. Torpedoes, navigation, the lot. The ship's going to pass within 2 miles. Right, sir. Okay. This morning I had to stand my first watch on my own. I know I've done it many times before in a surface ship, but somehow this was quite different.
Morning, Roger.
Morning, Robin.
How are you feeling?
As a matter of fact, the captain pulled a fast one on me. I suppose he wanted to be sure that the new boy knew his stuff. Fortunately, I remembered the drill, so everything was okay.
Bridge, the steering is jammed.
Bridge!
Bridge?
Steering is jammed, sir.
Very good.
Steering in emergency. Steering in emergency.
Tell the officer watch that was all right.
Bridge! Steering correct in emergency.
Once I got over the feeling of newness, I began to enjoy it immensely. A certain amount of alarm at all the shipping in the Channel, but it was all really rather interesting, and I began to get a marvellous feeling of responsibility.
Ship bearing red 45, range 2 miles.
I must confess I've been a bit doubtful about my transfer to submarines at first, but now I know it was the right choice. I'm really beginning to feel a part of it all.
What do you reckon this new chap there?
Hey, talking to the CO now.
Yeah.
Gave me a bottle my last watch.
Knows it all, does he then?
Matter of fact, he was right. I'd left some rags sculling. Gave me a lecture on fire hazards. Give him time. He'll do.
Then I've got my Secchi's disc, that white disc for lowering down into the water to get the...
Hey, boy, who's this grog we got in the forehands with all these little bottles?
He's an oceanographer. Well, he's a chap who studies marine life.
Oh, I don't know, you get everything on these things now, don't you?
That is midships.
Low 1 ML. Low 3 ML. Low 5. Stop low 1. Stop low
3. And now, here is the gale warning. Attention all shipping. The Met Office issued the following gale warning to shipping at 11 hours GMT this morning. Rockall, Faroes. Northwesterly gale. Force 8, imminent.
Signal just come in from the Faroes Coast Guard, sir. Submarine Sierra 49. That's Artemis, sir. Sighted at 1523, proceeding northwest.
I see.
30 miles, sir.
30 miles. How far to the west of Jan Mayen will we pass?
I'll just measure that off, sir.
Right.
Captain speaking. It's now the 12th, and we expect to get to the ice on or about the 17th.
Yeah, Rich, to be presented with long service and good conduct medal, sir. Well, it gives me very great pleasure to present you with this medal, and I know it's been very well deserved.
While the crew were indulging in exclusive winter sports and the more traditional British fun and games, our oceanographer was soon busily taking samples. I went along with him. Actually, I found it jolly interesting. I suppose we all have to be a bit of a boffin nowadays, so one naturally becomes interested in these things.
Survey completed, but unable to collect all salinity measurements due to difficult conditions.
We had some rather tricky moments leaving the frozen north, manoeuvring the boat around loose bits of pack ice. A hell of a lot of hard work, but very interesting too. My next job will bring a lot more responsibility with it. What I'd really like would be a draft of one of the new nuclear submarines. I reckon that's where the future lies. It'd be marvelous if I was lucky enough to be selected.
Joinering's blown on number 6, we're going to have to lift it. Number 6, we're going to have to lift it.
Mainport engine stop.
Bridge.
Control room.
Bridge here. Okay, Chief.
This is the captain speaking. We have trouble with our port main engine. The engine room are working hard to repair it, but this does mean that there will be a delay in our time of arrival at Copenhagen.
I wonder how long that's going to take.
Okay now. Jolly good, Chief. Well done.
Prisoner, get onto the port main engine. This is the captain speaking. The repairs on our port main engine have now been completed, and providing that there are no further delays, we shall arrive at Copenhagen early tomorrow morning.
All in all, it's been quite an experience. Doing the course at Dolphin was tough enough. Then there were some difficult moments here in Artemis, learning to be part of the crew. Retaining one's individuality, that's the real problem. And yet I suppose it's going to sea that proves we are individuals, all working together as a team because we want to. Yes, it's a wonderful life with a terrific future.
Final scan, hook down 39.
Hold your attitude, keep it coming. Slightly low, slightly high, a little fast.
The operations officer speaking. Good morning. Tuesday, the 1st of December. Back on this circuit again after our 10 days in Malta. And off to a good start with a fine day for flying, a light breeze and very little cloud. Having sailed at 8:30,
The ship is now proceeding to the operating area between Malta and Sicily.
Main signals office. Forward signal. Got it.
Galatea will be joining us shortly, and Lineth and Alna will be in company for the replenishment this afternoon. Flying will start at 1100 and continue until 23:59.
15 seconds to 10:40. Briefing for the SAR, 3 Phantoms, 3 Buccaneers, and 1 Gannet AEW. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time 10:40. Alpha. Met please.
Flight deck, Flyco.
SAR clear, engage.
Flight deck, Flyco.
SAR's clear, liftoff.
Right, lads, let's have you. On the range.
Stand by to come port to the flying course 300 and increase speed to 15 knots.
Split it is, over.
Right, come round now.
Port 15.
Port 15.
Revolutions 104.
Revolutions 104. Danger areas are active today. To the north, Delta 45 to unlimited, Delta 44 here to 3,000 feet. In the Catania control zone, Pechino, and this area here also to unlimited. Hilfler range is active to unlimited.
Aircrew, man aircraft. He is to 5. He is to 5. 5 aboard. Very good.
Flight deck, stand clear of intakes, jet pipes, rotors, start the helos, start the gannets.
041,
041, roger, 1024, you'll be gate 2.
1024.
Taking combined nuclear takeoff in turn, 50 leading.
Airborne, channel 3.
Flight deck, Flyco. Put the Buccaneers off the waste can. Roger. Flight deck. Stand clear of intakes and jet pipes. Start the Phantoms.
Start the Buccaneers.
strike jet will take you at 0900. Your max hook on weight 37,000.
The expected recovery course 270.
Seeking now, handing over control to Galatea. List out
For Galatea on this frequency.
Seeking, this is Galatea. You are positively identified and you are clear to join. Galatea is your control ship. Your station will be ahead of Galatea, 5 to 6 miles.
Sonar control room, ops room. Hunter, carry out standard sweep, axis 230.
Hunter Gansuck 200. Doppler again, 4
Good marking, Doppler.
Good marking set display. Reclassify submarine.
Hunter contact 20016.
Seeking, this is Galatea. Join me. Galatea has a
Sonar contact 20016.
Lowering the body now.
Galatea, this is Seeking, marking dip 20016, over.
52, this is Galatea. You are clear to approach from red 150.
45, engage.
Shoot!
Line up! Head down! Hand up, righty leave up! Righty leave up! Shoot!
is cease firing.
Wasp 452, this is Galatea. Your steer for Ark Royal
065, and you have 6 miles to run.
Roger, departing for Ark Royal now.
The gas recovery time will now be 14:19 after the 3 Phantoms, which are due back at 14:15.
You hear there? The ship passing down the port side is a Russian destroyer.
LSO, Flyco. We'll take the Buccaneers on 2-wire, Mike. 24 inches.
Flyco, this is landing site. Roger, 2-wire, 24 inches.
We will refuel from RFA Olna, taking in 2,000 tons of oil fuel and a further 1,000 tons of AVCAT. It will be transferred using 2 fueling rigs, and during the replenishment the ships will be steaming at 12 knots towards our operating area for tonight's flying. As soon as Olna is safely alongside the starboard, RFA Line S will come on our port side to transfer stores and provisions. This afternoon's replenishment will include 5 tons of paint, 28 tons of potatoes, 36,000 cans of beer, 6,000 dozen eggs, 20 tons of meat and 3 miles of sausages. You will also be interested to know that the ship's bakery requires a half a ton of flour every day, and today we will be embarking 7.5 tons to maintain your daily supply of 600 pounds of bread and 8,000 bread rolls.
Night flying will start at 1900 and continue until 23:59.
After 5 days flying in this area, the ship will proceed through the Straits of Messina, past the famous whirlpools of Scylla and Charybdis, and enter Naples on Monday at 0815 in procedure Alpha with an Alpha range. We will remain in Naples for 4 days and then sail for Gibraltar.
Wheel over starboard.
Roger.
Wheel over now, sir.
Starboard 35.
Starboard 35.
Half astern at both starboard engines.
Half astern, both starboard engines. Both starboard engines repeated half astern, sir. 35 of starboard with on.
Revolutions 80.
Revolutions 80.
Stand by, sir.
80 revolutions repeated, sir.
Very good.
Starboard anchor now, sir.
Half astern all engines.
Half astern, all engines.
Let go.
headquarters of the Commander-in-Chief Fleet at Northwood in Middlesex. From this building, the operations of well over 150 ships, deployed all over the world and ranging from mine hunters to nuclear-powered submarines, are planned and controlled. The primary role of these ships has remained virtually unchanged since the foundation of the Navy in the 9th century. That is, to preserve freedom of movement across the high seas, and indeed to protect our interests on them. Now, in order to carry out this vital job, it's clearly essential for the fleet to maintain at all times a high degree of efficiency in readiness for any emergency. The aim of this film is to show you some of the men of the Royal Navy training to carry out a variety of operational tasks. You'll be seeing a destroyer engaging in shore bombardment using her 4.5-inch guns, the destruction of an aircraft by the Sea Slug medium-range surface-to-air missile, a large group of ships replenishing at sea, the Royal Marines on patrol in Norway and carrying out landings from a commando carrier, and finally, the firing sequence of our ultimate deterrent, Polaris. But first, let's have a look at the basic unit of the fleet, the frigate. The frigate is the smallest unit of the fleet that can be deployed independently worldwide to carry out a whole range of tasks. In the anti-submarine role, the frigate can take several courses of action. She can destroy a submarine using the new cruise missile Ikara. Alternatively, if she's operating at close range, she can use her mortars. Operating in conjunction with the large multipurpose Sea King helicopter, which is equipped with dipping sonar, the frigate can pinpoint and track down a submarine at a considerable distance. Finally, the frigate can guide her own Wasp helicopter, armed with 2 homing torpedoes, onto a target many miles from the ship.
Observation. The contact now in a bearing of 320, 9,000 yards, is classified possible submarine, confidence level high.
Flight deck bridge, launch the Wasp. The wind is from red 15 at 22 knots. SCR, carry out VECTAC procedure.
"464, this is Delta Alpha. Override. Make your opening heading 310. Stand by for an attack on the submarine, now bearing 315, 8,000 yards.
Roger, my heading 310, ready for attack. Submarine northern course to starboard. Submarine course 115.
464, this is Delta Alpha. Stand by to drop 2 torpedoes. Set submarine depth 350 feet.
Roger, 350 feet set. Torpedoes ready.
464, this is Delta Alpha. You have 1 mile to run. Check height and speed.
Height 400 feet. Speed 90 knots.
464, this is Delta Alpha. Half a mile to run, left.
300. Heading 300, ready.
464, this is Delta Alpha. Stand by. Mark drop. Now, now, now.
One torpedo away.
Squad, torpedo attack area established bearing 317, 7,500 yards.
This forenoon, the task force is carrying out a replenishment at sea. The rest of the force has already started and are forming up in line abreast, centered on HMS Fife. We are joining from ahead to carry out a fuel replenishment by the astern method. Therefore, special sea dutymen close up, assume damage control, state 3, condition Yankee, replenishment party, muster on the forecastle. Tide spring 7 miles, sir.
Very good. Increase to 25 knots.
Sir. Revolutions 190.
Revolutions to 190.
Special sea dutymen close up, sir. Ship is now in damage control, state 3, condition Yankee. Tide spring now 1 mile, sir.
Very good. I have the ship. Port 15, 22 knots.
Port 15, revolutions 164.
Port 15, revolutions 164.
Ladies, turning to port, sir. Making your approach now.
Put 4 gas turbines in boost.
About to run up the port outboard gas turbine. Remove the port outer SSS clutch gag.
You hear this? The replenishment is now complete, and the ship is about to carry out a bombardment, operating both 4.5 guns firing salvos. We're at present 15 miles from the target and closing.
Policy indirect bombardment. Provide high explosive VT fused ammunition. Set range 150. Lookout bearing 180.
Four fives stood 2.
Set target course 250, speed 2.
Request a call for fire.
This is Yankee Foxtrot. Request call for fire.
Stand by to start the box in 2 minutes' time.
Initial bearing 180, range 154.
Target height 100 feet.
Box started 1503. Gun target line 181.
4 fives, salvos. Engage.
You hear that? This is the liaison officer speaking. As you know, the ship is about to start a 5-day visit to Auckland. We have already received a large number of invitations from local people and organizations, both to visit private homes and stay with families, and to tour around various parts of the country. Details of many of these invitations are displayed on the ship's main notice board. I would, however, especially like to draw your attention to the expedition leaving Auckland tomorrow for Wellington to meet the ship on the 18th. The route passes through some of the most magnificent and spectacular scenery in the world, including the famous hot springs at Rotorua.
Tonight on Fight TV, we have someone to talk to us about the Sea Slug missile system. Good evening, John.
Good evening.
Could we start with you telling us how Sea Slug fits into the weapon systems of the ship as a whole?
Yes, the ship, as you know, is fought from the operations room, which is really the nerve center of all the weapon systems in the ship. The central brain, if you like, of this nervous system is a large digital computer fed with target information from radar and sonar sensors, and it then processes this information and feeds it back again to the weapon systems in a usable form.
There must be a lot of electronic equipment involved with all this. Does it present any maintenance problem?
It's not a problem. Generally speaking, the equipment is pretty reliable, but of course we do carry a large team of maintainers with us to ensure that it remains that way. They work in various workshops and offices all around the ship. The actual missile weighs about 2 tons and it's about 20 feet long. It is basically an anti-air missile with an anti-ship capability.
Could you perhaps explain a bit about the system behind the missile?
Yes, certainly. If we start down with the director, this is really an aerial system for 3 different radar sets. The first one actually tracks the target. The second one guides the missile. And the third gathers the missile after it's been fired into the guiding beam, which then takes it straight off to the target.
Where are the missiles stowed?
In magazines, which take quite a large proportion of the ship, so that we can crowd as many in as possible. Some of them are stowed without their wings and fins on, so they have to be virtually reassembled before they can be taken out and fired. In the magazines, there's a system rather like an underground railway, and the missiles are moved very quickly indeed along on trolleys.
Perhaps you could finish by telling me what is a real anti-aircraft action like.
Yes, indeed. Well, if we assume that the enemy aircraft is actually transmitting on his radar, then the whole sequence would probably commence with the electronic warfare director reporting the detection of an incoming enemy aircraft.
Enemy aircraft radar, bearing 040.
Enemy aircraft approaching from 040. Sea Slug Ark 040.
Come 40 degrees to port.
Engage aircraft track 2222 with Sea Slug.
Stand by to engage aircraft target. Target not seen. Widen and search.
Ranger ready.
901 acquired. Firing now. 3, 2, 1.
Some 11,000 miles from Sydney, in the north of Norway, a specialist force of Royal Marine Commandos train for 3 months each year to live and fight in the Arctic winter. The main task of 4-5 Commando as an Arctic ski-trained warfare unit is to support the northern flank of the NATO alliance. The Royal Navy's amphibious forces are made up of commando and assault ships, Royal Marine Commandos, and their associated helicopter squadrons. The commando ships normally each carry a full commando group with artillery, engineers, and logistic support. Their helicopters provide optimum flexibility for positioning troops ashore. The assault ships carry the command and control facilities and the heavier vehicles, equipment and landing craft necessary to support the units ashore. If the combined efforts of the Alliance fail to maintain the status quo or achieve détente, we in the Royal Navy will continue to deploy the final option in the struggle for peace, Polaris. So much for the ships of today's Navy. What of the future? The new anti-submarine cruiser, HMS Invincible, is now being built by Vickers at Barrow and Furnace. When completed, she'll be about 19,000 tons. She'll carry a squadron of helicopters, and she'll also be capable of operating vertical takeoff aircraft. She's expected to go into service in the late 1970s. The first of a new class of frigate, HMS Amazon, is now at sea. She's faster than any other frigate in the fleet, and later ships of this class will carry the new surface-to-surface missile, Exocet. HMS Sheffield is the first of a new class of destroyer. She carries a helicopter and is armed with a new 4.5-inch quick-firing gun and the Sea Dart missile system, which is currently the finest of its type in the world.
Ships and planes of our Navy are complex and expensive, and they need the finest skills of modern engineering. Keeping everything working properly is the job of the artificers, the technicians of the Royal Navy. The artificer is really a technical manager, with the challenge of operating and maintaining some of the most up-to-date and complex equipment in service with any country, anywhere. Whether specialized in electrical, marine or air engineering, They start their training as apprentices at HMS Fishguard, Cornwall. Fishguard is very like a technical college, but with uniforms. The main difference here is that an artificer apprentice learns his skills in far less time than a man in a similar course in industry. The normal course of 12 months in Fishguard is split into 3 terms, with roughly a third of this time spent on sport and general naval activities. We will rely on these men to act coolly and professionally in any situation. After all, they'll be part of an important team and able to make up their own minds about problems that they have to tackle.
All right, Bart. Right now, where you go? Right, off you go, Tom.
As well as the basic naval training, there's plenty of scope for all sports and pastimes. It's a busy course at Fishguard, but these apprentices are already on a good rate of pay, and there's time to relax and have fun. At the end of 3 terms, the apprentice leaves HMS Fishguard to specialise in electrical, air or marine engineering at an advanced second stage training establishment such as HMS Caledonia. HMS Caledonia, near Edinburgh on the Firth of Forth, is the training school for marine engineering artificers. These men will eventually work with some of the latest marine machinery in the world: steam and gas turbines, nuclear-powered plant and diesel engines. They're also in charge of refrigeration and water distilling plants, air conditioning and hydraulic systems, and ship hull maintenance. Their job, in short, is to keep the ship floating and to keep it moving. An important aspect of training is relating theory to practice. Caledonia is fully equipped for the apprentice to get to know most of the actual machines he will meet on ships of the fleet. Somebody once said that you'll never learn a thing until you've tried it. A marine engineering artificer isn't an exception. He has to be fully trained and experienced before taking his place in the complex operation of a ship. The 9 terms at HMS Caledonia give an apprentice the theory and practical training of any similar engineering course. The qualifications gained here are fully accepted by industry and the professional institutes, and it equips a man for a job of great variety and importance. With 4 years behind him, the artificer apprentice will leave here to join his first ship. It may be a guided missile destroyer, a submarine, or one of the new generation of gas turbine destroyers.
Get on board the ship and we'll sort it out.
These 3 artificers have been assigned to the first ship of a brand new class being built at Southampton. Their job is to ensure that this ship will make Navy sense, that it will work to specification and be as easy as possible to maintain for the next 20 years.
Right, you can see the snag. They've raised that pipe from mid-guard position to the top of the guard position, but we still can't get this 8-inch guard off. You know, it's cooling water.
This is a typical example of what an artificer has been trained to do. If this essential pump needs repair, say a belt breaks, then another and even more essential system, the main air conditioning plant, has to be shut down to get at it. The designers haven't foreseen this vital snag. It needs the men who will actually be on board the ship at sea and in action to foresee these problems and get them straightened out.
I'm no clever draftsman, but what I'd like to see done is this piece of pipe lengthened from 16 to 23 inches to bring it round right up to the ship's side, bring the same bend in, and then from the end of the valves come along until we meet that 8-inch pipe coming down behind the 6-inch salt water main that drops down below there.
I think we were proposing on the second ship that we move the valves up and put them onto the T.
I'm not really worried about that, as long as I get this out so I can move the guard.
This team of artificers will stay with the ship right through her building time and take her out for her sea trials. By then, they know every inch of her. They have to. That's their job. For air engineering artificers, their training is at HMS Daedalus at Lyon-Solent, after Fisgard. There are 400 aircraft in the Fleet Air Arm of more than 10 types. Apprentices learn their trade using most of the current machines operating from land and sea. There are 3 sections in air engineering, and the apprentice can specialize in mechanical, electrical, or radio work. The aircraft artificer is the mechanical engineer looking after aero engines and the complex hydraulic and pneumatic systems of both helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft. As well as this, he must maintain airframes and be able to keep the aircraft available for service at all times and in all weathers. The air electrical artificer works on the electrical and electronic systems in naval aircraft, including automatic pilots, flying instruments and weapons. The air radio artificer looks after the radar, sonar and electronic navigational equipment that's such an important part of modern aircraft and their work. We need our aircraft in the Navy, and we need them to fly reliably. These apprentices will be working with the new aircraft being designed now for the 1980s. Aircraft at sea have special problems. There's often not much room to work in, or not much time. It can be exciting work keeping them flying.
Coast Guard Calshot, Coast Guard Calshot. This is Solent SAR calling for a radio check. Here we go.
The aircraft of the search and rescue flight at Lyon-Solent have a vital job to do. These helicopters must be ready to scramble at a moment's notice, any time of the day, every day of the year. Part of the backup team is an artificer air apprentice in his final year of training. Each helicopter has to be checked and ready for immediate use. No machine is perfect, and he must be alert to the smallest signs of faults developing.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Chief. You find the fault on 12 last night?
We finished about midnight, sir.
Good, good.
I'll just go and check the book.
Yes, okay.
The chief artificer runs the team, keeping each of the 4 helicopters under his care maintained to strict schedules. Mistakes could cost lives for the pilots and aircrew as well as the casualties they're called out to assist.
Any snags?
No, not today, Chief.
How about that nose door?
No, it seems to have gone all right today.
Good.
Solent SAR. Calshot Lifeboat, yes. 4 miles southeast of Portsmouth, yes. Request hello assistance, just a moment. Injured seaman for transfer to hospital. Roger, we're scrambling now.
The Union aircraft changed from 810 to 812 and is scrambling now.
Thank you.
Slowly 10 feet, please. Roger, going up. Clear of all obstructions, you're clear to pull off to the left while I'm racing you. Roger, moving. Divers unhooking, coming inboard, clear to proceed to leave. Chief, I'm getting a phase vibration through the control. Can you feel anything in the back? Yes, it is. With casualty on board, I have a vibration problem.
Chief Hampton SAR flight. Yes. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Right. We've got an in-flight emergency on 812. He's got a serious road head snag, severe vibration.
One of the dampers is US, sir. It's leaking.
Right, I've checked the dampers.
Right, Chief.
Take one off the port side.
Last year, the Leon Solent flight flew 158 sorties and assisted 75 casualties, many with serious injuries. There has always been a helicopter ready for emergencies. The chief artificer and his team aim to keep it that way.
That's fine, okay. Just gently let it go now.
Okay, Chief.
Fine, sir. We've just changed all three dampers. If you'd like to come and look at the snag, the seal's gone on the ground.
With Fiskard behind them, apprentices of the electrical branch move on to HMS Collingwood. This is the Navy's electrical and weapons school. It's a large organisation covering everything from soldering irons to computers. These apprentices will be in charge of the eyes and ears of the fleet. Electrical artificers work in 3 trades. These apprentices will look after radio and radar equipment, and even satellite communication. Control electrical artificers work with submarine detection equipment, computers, gyro compasses, and other navigational equipment. finally, ordnance electrical artificers deal with all the electrical and hydraulic machinery, including missile launchers, gun mountings and mechanisms, torpedoes. The power for everything on a ship. In the last 10 years, advances in electronics have revolutionized ship running and even ship design. The electrical artificer has become a key man in the working of the modern defense systems in use in the fleet today. He has the first-hand knowledge of the equipment, he can operate it, diagnose faults in it, maintain and repair it. In short, the electrical artificer has his finger on the pulse of the ship. Nuclear submarines like this one depend on electrical systems for their success and for their survival.
Couple of chuck and clips, sir. 2 clips, 2 pins. There's one ship at green 30 range, 5 miles. We'll pass 2 miles clear to start, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Ready to go, Dick? Ready to go, Thomas. Open main vents. Open main vents. Right, diving now. Diving now, diving now.
Nuclear submarines can remain underwater for months at a time, so they need every system to work perfectly and for every man to know his job. There can be no room for errors.
I'll be in my cabin. Okay? Awesome.
Seem to have lost indication on the drain, sir. Course I'm down.
Okay, can you get hold of the 4AM? Please steer on the top tape repeater and keep depth on the top depth gauge.
What's the trouble?
Looks like we lost depth and course indication on the drain display.
Looks like both channels have gone, sir. I think it's a job for the 4AM.
Okay, we're going to get hold of him. Got trouble, sir? Yes, we have. Looks as though we lost the course and depth input for the drain have both gone.
Yeah, I have, haven't they? Can you try on depth only, please, one?
And on course. And back to normal.
It's not good, is it? Took all of a sudden, sir?
Yes, I did. It went straight off to the left.
I'll have a look in the control unit down here, sir.
I think I'd better get out of your way. You continue to keep depth on the radio depth gauge and steer on the top tape.
It's the second and third from the end.
Second and third?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we'll change those 2 round and see if it shifts the spot. Yeah, it moves it down to the bottom right-hand side. So that makes it that board there. Have you got the keys, Steve?
Yeah, roger.
3R19 should be 4.7k.
That's okay.
Right, 3R18.
That's okay.
3R9 should be 120 ohms.
No reading there. It looks like that one's it.
3R9, 120 ohms. It's a small one. 120 ohms, quarter watt. That looks better. Let me try it on depth. And on course. And back to normal. That's fine. It's working again now, sir? Fine. Everything okay? It's fine now, sir, yeah. Open circuit resistor in the gauge drive circuit. It's okay. Thank you very much. Right, carry on.
This artificer is a Chief Petty Officer at 23, and with only 3 years' service since completing his apprenticeship, has the full responsibility of one of the most complex systems of guidance electronics in the world. Yet he is not unique. All artificers, as the technical managers of the Navy, are the key specialists, keeping everything working and working well. It's a good job with good pay, and one of the finest apprenticeships you'll find anywhere. And there are opportunities to go further, to the highest ranks of the Navy. There are 4,000 artificers working in air, electrical and marine engineering, with skills and qualifications as good as any in industry. Technicians, diagnosticians, troubleshooters, managers, they're all these things. Artificers are a vital part of a team that keeps the Navy on the move and at the ready.